I'm very glad to welcome you on behalf of ICE, the Italian Institute for Foreign Trade, also known abroad as the Italian Trade Commission. ICE is the government agency with the task of promoting the internationalization of the Italian companies. Regarding nanotechnology, ICE has developed a specific program to support the sector's growth, the penetration into foreign market, and technology transfers between research centers and private companies. This special project for the development of nanotechnology has the financial support of the Italian Ministry for Economic Development, and it is planned in collaboration with IRI, Nanotech, the Italian Center for Nanotechnology, and with representatives from the major Italian nanotech clusters. This action plan includes a wide range of initiatives, among which participation at the major international conventions, organization of seminars and workshops abroad, visits of foreign experts and entrepreneurs to Italy, aimed at creating technological partnership between Italian and foreign companies. For this edition, 2009 of nanotechnology, ICE has invited foreign representatives from 20 companies. The delegates represent companies, but also research centers and laboratories operating in 6 countries. We have 5 companies from India, 4 from Japan and Sweden, 4 from Russia, and 1 from Korea and Singapore, like Mr. Jung. Therefore, the Italian visitors at NANOFORUM will have the opportunity to meet the foreign delegates during the exhibition at our focal point, each focal point, and especially in the one-to-one meetings scheduled for tomorrow. Then a speaker from each country will explain the state of the hard technologies and the market trends during the conference sessions. So I hope that this may be useful for the Italian companies and for the foreign companies in order to have a good exchange of opinions and business. I thank you for your attention, and I wish to all of you to enjoy nanotech. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barbieri. Now it's the turn of Mr. Alberto Cigada, who is professor in Polytechnic of Milan. Professor Cigada, ordinario di Scienza e Tecnologia dei Metalli, Department of Chemical, Material and Chemical Engineers.
Thank you.
Just that.
Only 2 minutes talk, because I would like to leave the final welcome address to the padrone di casa, as we say in Italy, Professor Profumo. I'm Alberto Cigada, but I represent Professor Giulio Baglio, Director of Politecnico di Milano. That is what it was impossible for him to be here for a very important meeting in Milan. Well, in any case, I'm very happy to be in Torino this year, because NANOFORUM is born some years ago at Politecnico di Milano with the contribution of Professor Bottani and me, and moved in Torino for this 4th or 5th edition, I don't remember exactly. And Giulio Baglio think that this was a good choice and a good chance in particular because Politecnico di Milano and Politecnico di Torino are, I think, the two most important technical university in Italy, and there is a very strong alliance between the two polytechnici, and also in Piemonte and Lombardia, very important research center are present. And we all think that the connection and the technology transfer from universities and the research center to industries is very important, in particular in this difficult moment for the industry. Innovation is necessary to escape from the crisis, and nanotechnologies are perhaps the most useful innovation chance. So I think that the time is finished, and I leave to Professor Profumo the final address. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cigada. As you know, Mr. Cigada said, there is a strong and close collaboration between Politecnico of Milan and Politecnico of Turin. But here we are in Turin. It's the first. You had the 4th edition in Milan. This is the 5th. So for the first time is in Turin, and we are the host of the guest speaker, the last but one, the last in the end, the very important one, Professor Francesco Profumo, Rector of Polytechnic of Turin.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your words, and welcome to Torino. I was really impressed by the words of my friend from Politecnico di Milano. Maybe you don't know, but 45% of engineers and architecture graduate from these two schools in Italy. And the most important project from the technology point of view and from education are joint projects between Politecnico di Milano and Politecnico di Torino. I want just to mention two of them. One is related to the campus that we have together in China, in Shanghai. And the other one is the project that maybe is one of the key projects in Italy for the future, for the post-crisis, that we call Alta Scuola Politecnica, is a high polytechnical school. This is a special project and is related to the best 5% of students in the Politecnico di Milano and Politecnico di Torino. Then the NANOFORUM in Torino is just a part of this common project between the two schools in Italy, and I'm very pleased that after the 4th edition in Milan, this year we have the NANOFORUM in Torino. I'm sure that starting from today we are going to have a new project together that is on nano technologies, and I'm sure that the two schools together can really give an improvement to the technology, not only in Italy, but I hope in Europe and maybe in the world, in the whole world. I'm very pleased because yesterday in the evening I had the chance to meet some of the delegates coming from 20 countries that have been invited by ICE, and I was impressed by the question, I was impressed by the competence of the people, and I was very, very pleased to host them and to visit the new campus that we have in the Polytechnic. I was reading the program of the NANOFORUM, and I'm very pleased that during these days we have several sections, technical and on education. In the afternoon we are going to have a special section on education, and this is maybe one key point. For the future we need to have more expertise in nanotechnology, and both universities are really involved in order to have more education specialized on nanotech. Then thank you to all of you for being in Torino to attend this conference, and I'm sure that at the end all of us can get something more than before. Thank you. Have a very, very nice day. Thanks.
So here is the panel is finished. We are coming to an end, but I guess that provided we have here two important professors from the most important engineer university in Italy, maybe some people have some question to put, if any. Please go ahead. Any engineer here asking, or any researcher? May I ask you one thing? If, provided we are, well, in Italy, how is the policy for financing the university, particularly as concerns the research and innovation? This is one point, financial, and the other point, on which focus you are more investing, more interested, and more dedicated. At present, but particularly, what would be in the future? Maybe nanotechnologies or what else? Both. The question is for both. Thank you.
Yeah, as you know, the financial issue is a very special issue for universities in these days. For the two schools, we have a quite special situation because in addition to the funding coming from the government, we have a strong connection with our territory, and we have a good research funding coming from private and public entities. But in addition, for I think both universities, we have a quite good funds coming from European communities. The success rate for both universities is more than 20%. That is quite good also if we compare with the other university in all Europe. There is another point that was not in the past that is related to the research project funded by our region, sometimes separately, sometimes together. And this is maybe a key point. You know, for the future, we expect to have less funds coming from the state, from the government, to increase the total amount of money coming from Europe, from our region, and from the private sector. For the future, what can be some of the sectors where we think to invest more? It's quite difficult that we can decide because most of the money coming from Europe is already targeted. Then we are working very hard in order to get more and more involvement in a European project. From both sides, we are strong interest in the European Institute of Technology, that is the next important project for Europe. Maybe you know that at the end for the call is August 27, and we expect that both universities can have maybe one or two co-location centers. The first call are related to ICT, energy, and climate change. At this point, I think these three big topics can be the three main line for research in the next future. But if you go through for ICTs, nanotech, and climate change, maybe nanotechnology is just an horizontal technology that can be used. Then nanotechnology fit very, very well in the main line for research for the two universities. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Up to you.
Only another thing. I think that the technology transfer is very important. This is obvious. But it's also necessary to organize very well the problem of intellectual properties. And I think that Politecnico di Milano and Politecnico di Torino were the second university to organize a technology transfer office. This is very, very important for increasing the connection between university and industries. And I think it's necessary to increase also this activity.
Thank you so much, Professor Cigada. One last comment says from me. I appreciate very much all this plenary session, and the final comments are particularly interesting because Professor Cigada and Professor Profumo represents the topic of their university, and I guess that what you just mentioned, you just commented, ICT, energy and climate change are the three main topics that are very much interesting also for industry. So we are well focused on this. I mean, it's the present and the future focus for developing and for the collaboration and integration between research, innovation and development of new products, new service, for the sake of to be more competitive and for the sake of our global environment and planet.